You see me now you hear the name now. Run up on the red now, I bet you won't now. Sounding different now, trying to figure out how. Got my name through the world, picture that now.
Yo, what's up, Misfits? This is Long Island Josh here with this guy, Red, and we're here to discuss tonight's WWE Smackdown event that came from the O2 Arena in London, England. Red, what's up?
Not much. I enjoyed SmackDown, actually. I feel like the London crowd is always entertaining, I feel like.
Well, yeah, they're a very lively crowd. I kind of disagree with you. I didn't think the show was that great. Overall, still, 2 hours of SmackDown beats 3 hours on Raw almost every week. But I think SmackDown's in this rebuilding phase. I think the draft really affected SmackDown more. And as we get into it, we'll see a lot of new acts are being brought up, or acts that were existing lower card. They're starting to make them more important, or invest time into these characters that we didn't really see for the past few months. So I can't really complain, but SmackDown feels very different than it did weeks ago.
See, I feel differently in a good way for SmackDown. In a way, I feel like it's taken SmackDown a little bit to get the steam rolling after the superstar shakeup. We see the Raw superstars, they're starting to get their positions, I guess you can say, in certain storylines, but once, like you said, we're gonna get into what's been going on SmackDown so far. So we know that Randy Orton is the WWE champion. We know that Jinder Mahal is the #1 contender, and I enjoy this rivalry. I enjoy this rivalry more than I enjoyed the Bray Wyatt Randy Orton rivalry. The only reason is because it's not something crazy. Like they were, you know what I'm talking about, the whole supernatural.
Well, yeah, we're not going to get a crazy dumb pre-tape match. At least we're going to get a solid match. And I'm not against Jinder Mahal. It's kind of weird that a few weeks ago he was a jobber, but at least on SmackDown they gave him the Singh brothers. So he's got a little mini stable to him. He's starting to win matches, and we'll get into that later tonight. So I'm not against Jinder Mahal. SmackDown's doing the right thing. They're building him up properly. I think last week on Talking Smack, AJ Styles had the best shoot comment of the night, where it's SmackDown makes them and Raw takes them. So while this whole SmackDown feels different, I trust it in the long run. But this week I just felt like
well, it's no surprise that I have not been around for 3-4 weeks, and so I had to catch up on what's going on SmackDown through just what's on their YouTube page and everything. And this is actually pretty good to actually watch it, not kind of live if you want to say, since it's in London. But the whole Jinder Mahal thing, I really like him being in the #1 contendership position, just because, what you said about AJ Styles, what he says, they're giving Jinder Mahal the chance to do it, and he's somebody that's different. He's somebody that, we've seen him in the, around for a long time, but he's been mostly a jobber. But it's good to see them giving an opportunity to somebody else who isn't a normal person every week that they were doing probably for 2-3 years.
Right. I mean, the past, like you said, 2-3 years for Jinder, he was, the 3-man band, kind of a lower card guy, but he's been reborn almost on SmackDown since the Superstar shakeup. So this show opened up with our champion Randy coming out, and before he can really start talking, Jinder comes out, and then before Jinder can really start talking, Kevin Owens comes out. And then it leads to AJ coming out, Baron Corbin comes out, but he's attacked by Sami Zayn. So, we've watched wrestling forever. We know this is just going to set up the main event with a tag team match.
Well, this is... yeah, this will make Teddy Long very proud of what they did on SmackDown. Shout out to Teddy Long, though, who was a general manager for SmackDown. But then also, we have all these different personalities. We got Baron Corbin, we got Sami Zayn. Put on all to this with Jinder Mahal with the top guys and everything, and it just seems like Shane McMahon always says, SmackDown is the land of opportunity, and it's good to see a mixture of different personalities just come together.
Yeah, I mean, just jumping into the main event, I thought it was a very good match. But then again, you have the arguably the top 6 guys on SmackDown working together in a match, so there was nothing bad about it. And the whole show kind of built to it. We saw some skits throughout the show that showed the teams trying to get along, or just the personalities not necessarily getting along. I mean, jumping forward to the main event, what'd you think? This, it sets up this 3-on-3. What are your thoughts?
I really like this main event. I forgot what the main event was for Raw yesterday, but I really like this main event, even though if it was a 6-man tag team match, Teddy Long out there, and I like the teams that they put together, and I really like they did the whole thing like towards the end of the match where each person gets their own spotlight to shine, but AJ Styles is AJ Styles. Randy Orton is Randy Orton. He was taking out everybody, and I just like the fact that they got Randy Orton into a position to where he took the pinfall for what's his name, Jinder Mahal, at the end of the match.
I like the last like 4 minutes for me was very solid because again, like you said, everyone starts to hit their signature moves and it was put together very well. What are your thoughts of Jinder's finisher, the Cobra Clutch Slam? Honestly, I think come the next pay-per-view when he gets his opportunity against Randy Orton, I think he's going to win, probably thanks to the Singh brothers. But I like to see him have a different finisher. To me, it's not that impactful. It's not a signature move like the RKO is great because you can hit it from anywhere. There's not a big setup to it, but the Cobra Clutch Slam, you got to get behind the guy. You got to pause to let everyone realize what's going on, pick him up, and then drop him. I would like to see him get something different, but I don't want it to be necessarily even the Cobra Clutch. I want to see him get a new finisher. I'm not so hyped about this one.
I kind of like it. It's just it's a little bit of Sergeant Slaughter put into there since Sergeant Slaughter used the Cobra Clutch and you put a slam into it. And I see where you're saying they have to come right behind. They have to get him in the Cobra Clutch, stand there, then get ready for the slam. It just seems a little too slow in a way, but I think they didn't really count on Jinder Mahal doing as good as he's doing. If they keep pushing him the way they are, maybe he'll develop more and more of a moveset. Maybe he'll get something that he's a little bit more comfortable with. I like how they paired him with the Singh brothers, and so I think with this whole Cobra Clutch Slam, I think if they distract Randy Orton, he could get it on him like he just did tonight, and he could get the pin. I honestly think that he will win, and I would want to see Jinder Mahal actually win the WWE title.
I'm hoping for that also. It'll be something different for SmackDown. WWE's trying to get into India, so it makes sense why Jinder will probably win. But it changes stuff up. I kind of like when Orton's the not underdog, but he's chasing for a title. Once he has it, once he's already established himself at the top of the hill, I think he gets a little boring. So it'd be something nice to freshen up SmackDown, which again, it's not like SmackDown stale because there's a lot of changing parts. I mean, even the women's division, we're seeing a lot of different characters and groups being formed.
Yeah, it's a plethora of everything that's going on SmackDown. Randy Orton at least is a champion that has the belt that's actually on SmackDown every Tuesday. Not talking about somebody who went past their 30-day no compete clause of the title that should be taken away from him, but we won't get into that. That's on a different show.
All right, so I wanted to talk about the women's because watching SmackDown week to week, they're building this division well. Their storyline, I think, is starting to come together pretty well. The welcoming committee, they came out in full force to back Natalya, where she took on Becky Lynch, because last week when the welcoming committee offered Becky Lynch a spot in their little group, she said no, and violently said no, kind of tried to beat them all up, but the numbers got the better of her. So this was the fallout. So before Becky can come out, Naomi introduces Becky Lynch, so then at least you got a 2-on-4 type of situation. And then before the match starts, Charlotte comes out. So now you got the 3-on-3 with the women, and you got James Ellsworth, who doesn't really count, but he's still there. And what'd you think of this match?
This match is it was okay. It was, I wouldn't say that it was one of the top tier match, but you gotta, like you said, we got a lot of personalities in this, and it's different to see a group of women who are established on SmackDown, and they are all mad about the fact that Charlotte Flair, who came from Raw, is on SmackDown and getting like opportunities that some of them didn't get. And then you throw James Ellsworth in there, and hey, you got a lot of different personalities that clash with each other. Plus, you got Naomi and Becky Lynch, who team up with Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is just being Charlotte Flair,
which I really like about this, because Charlotte, to me, she didn't fully turn face. She's still egotistical. She thinks she's the queen of the whole women's division. And because these personalities, at least with the babyface side, they're not completely getting along yet, Natalya won the match. So for me, I like that at least while you have the Welcome Committee seems to all be like a solid functioning unit, you have the good guys on the other side, which because of their personalities, because they don't know if they can fully trust each other. I think Becky and Naomi trust each other, but Charlotte's still that kind of wild card. Where is she? She comes out, tries to be good by evening the odds, but then after the match, she's still cutting promos on them, blaming them. So I have been interested in the storyline, and going into this week, I'm still interested. And for next week, I want to see what happens. I kind of like how Charlotte still keeps her brash heel side. I don't want to see that disappear too fast, but it's at least interesting. And that's what's good about SmackDown right now. Things are interesting.
I think eventually Charlotte, if she's anything like her father, she'll make alliances when she needs to, but when it comes to that SmackDown Women's Championship, she's going to take the opportunity to go after it.
Yeah, I think she's always going to want to be a solo act and not a group act.
And what do you feel about this whole Lana being probably thrown into the whole thing when she finally comes on SmackDown? I feel like they're doing this, and it's going to just be one of those hit misses type thing.
Honestly, I don't expect Lana to wrestle. I think she's just going to come out and dance. It might be a way to disguise a bathroom break for the crowd, but I don't expect her to be taken seriously as a wrestler. I think she's just going to be more of a visual act.
Point. That's a good point. And then we also saw Breezango, who I feel like they've been giving Breezango a little bit of a opportunity to show them their entertaining side plus their wrestling side. They had that whole, that Law and Order skit that went on earlier?
Last week, I loved it. This week, I didn't think it was great. It started up there. They did the intro, Fashion Files Special London Edition, and they're dressed as British detectives. And this time around, they found paint on the floor. So because the Usos used to do the face paint, they assumed it was them. But then they follow the paint and into they end up being outside of a room where you hear people making grunt noises, and they don't know what's going on. So they bust in the door, and it's the Ascension guys just hitting each other in the chest, and they're just, I guess, hyping each other up. But everyone's like, what is this? And, it ends with I guess the Ascension case was not closed. They reopen it, so it sets up the tag match for later in the night. And the actual match I thought was all right, because clearly I thought the Fashion Police are going to win, the number one contenders. They're going to go over the Ascension. The Ascension, in NXT, they were good. They were taken serious, but once they got called up, their momentum didn't really come with them. They seem to have hit a wall. I do consider them just a jobber tag team, but I was looking forward to the match, and it's crazy that Fandango does that top rope leg drop, because if he keeps that up years from now, he's going to regret it. He's not going to be able to walk. So it's impressive, but...
Yeah, look at Hogan now with his hip surgeries and whatnot.
And he wasn't jumping off the top rope like Fandango is.
Yeah, so this is putting more of an impact on your hip area. So, good luck to him.
Yeah, so I didn't think this match was super important. I think it was just, point B to connect points A and C, where point C, where the ending is that the Usos come out and cut one of their crazy promos, and I'm starting to really get behind them. I'm gonna boo them because they're heels, but they're entertaining.
Oh, these guys are entertaining ever since their whole attitude change, heel turn, and just changing everything up, not being the crazy Samoan people that come out and do their chants and everything and saying Usos out loud. These guys have their own attitude, and I really like how they, do their promos. And I like that whole 12 days thing going on.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, the most important thing about their promos is, how many days until this match, Red?
In 12 days.
How many days does the Fashion Police have to get prepared for this match?
In 12 days.
So I could keep going on and on, but the fact is, like, they kept this going for 2 minutes, and they're, one of them, unfortunately, I don't know the difference between them still. Maybe if they had the makeup, I could be able to tell, but I can't tell the difference right now. But the point is, like, these guys come out and they make me look forward to this match. The pay-per-view's in how many days?
12 days.
Exactly. So, like, I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view for at least this one match because I don't think the Fashion Police will win, but the Usos are a credible tag team, and I want to see them mess up the Fashion Police. Not because I'm against them, just like the Usos seem more legit. They're more real. And while I like the Fandango and Tyler Breeze act, I like having credible champions, and the Usos are that. They're these new type of thugs, and I really like it.
Yeah, it's a good thing that they changed everything up, because at the end of their last gimmick, you can tell they're kind of getting stale. So it's good that they changed everything up and they seem more fresh now.
Now, with the pay-per-view coming up, what is the next thing that I'm really looking forward to, and I think you'll probably agree with me, is that we're finally going to get Shinsuke Nakamura's in-ring debut against Dolph Ziggler. So, they have this whole thing where Dolph comes out and he cuts a promo on Shinsuke, but Nakamura comes out and, kind of tells Dolph, you don't really know who I am, but I'm willing to show you in the ring right now. And Dolph, he seems like he's ready. He's down to fight. He takes off his jacket and he's, looking like he's ready for a fight, but he throws it in Nakamura's face, then tries to cheap shot Nakamura. But Nakamura is a badass, and like, he takes that one shot, but he gets over and he takes Ziggler down, just starts hitting knees to him, to the upper body. And you have the commentary team be like, oh, it's the strong style. But like, it's the strong style. He is kneeing him. Like, this will probably be a very good match. Dolph knows how to make guys look good. Dolph's 100% solid in the ring.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to this match.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler is a solid performer. It doesn't, like, he's been in like this whole thing to where he doesn't get the opportunities, but you put him in there and he can perform the best of anybody else. And I expect this to be as good as Shinsuke Nakamura's first match in NXT when Shinsuke Nakamura went against Sami Zayn. I'm predicting that it could be as good as that.
I have no reason to doubt you on that. It's kind of weird that, SmackDown has this guy, this international star, and they're slowly building him up, but because they keep doing new acts, like, I want to see Shinsuke in the ring. You got 2 hours. You can have him go against guys. It's kind of weird that they're doing this building where it's like, we know those of you who know who he is knows what to expect, but some of our fan base doesn't. So we're going to build it up for a few weeks, and we have Ziggler doing a lot of the promo talking because Nakamura, I don't know if they don't trust him for whatever reason. They're keeping his actual talking to, very limited. But I'm looking forward to this match. Every SmackDown for the past few weeks, I'm hoping Nakamura will have an in-ring debut against a jobber. I want to see him mess up a guy. I want to see him hit the Bumaya. I forget what they call it now. The Kinshasa. Yeah, Kinshasa. But I was a big fan of New Japan when he was there, so I know like the Boomaye, and it's gonna take me a while to get the new WB vernacular down.
Oh yeah, and I'm anything with Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm excited about. Even like seeing old matches of him in New Japan Pro Wrestling, I'll sit down and watch anytime. But overall, I think this will be a solid match. I think SmackDown has a good show going on. Overall, how did you feel about tonight's show?
It's a solid show, but didn't have my attention all the time. Again, like I said in the beginning, I'd rather watch 2 hours of SmackDown than 3 of Raw. But they're in a building phase. I know this, and I don't blame them. Like AJ said, SmackDown makes them, Raw takes them, and it's always been true, especially with the first draft. So it's just SmackDown's in a rebuilding phase. All the pieces are there. I mean, even that Luke Harper, Eric Rowan match, I didn't think much of it, but they're building those guys. So I can't really complain, because when we look back at it, I'm sure SmackDown's going to be better off, 2-3 months from now than Raw is going to be.
Raw, I feel like a corporate stable where I see SmackDown just building everybody else. I always get excited about what's going to happen on every Tuesday. I mean, it's there's certain things on Raw that is good, but then it's good to see what's going to happen on SmackDown the next day.
Yeah, SmackDown is its own show. It has its own identity. And, there's so much wrestling, and especially there's so much WWE in the week. It's nice that at least I think Raw and SmackDown have a very different feel. And, you could be a SmackDown guy and hate Raw. You could be a Raw guy and hate SmackDown. And I think that's pretty cool.
All right. Just one little extra thing. Doesn't have to be long at all. Just one extra thrown into it, not WWE related. I just want one statement from you. Kenny Omega, Okada, 2.
In New Japan?
Yes. Where Okada's the one. Okada, the champion, he called out Kenny Omega this time. Real quick.
First match was 6 stars, which, broke the hypothetical ranking system of Dave Meltzer. Can they deliver and produce a even more solid 6-star or even 7 stars? Yes, honestly, yes, because that first match was so good. And it's not a Japanese type of thing. It's not an Okada type of thing to bring it to him, like he's going to do to Kenny Omega. Usually it's the loudmouth American, who in this case is Canadian, who, insults the Japanese champion. But this time, I guess Okada feels like I have to end this talk that, Kenny Omega is arguably the best wrestler in New Japan, despite the fact that Okada has the belt. The fans internationally, it doesn't matter if you're American, Canadian, in the UK or Japanese, wherever you are, Kenny Omega is arguably the best wrestler out there. But then you can make the argument for Omega. So, I mean, you can make that for Okada. So who knows what this will... looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I feel you. Everything that you just said, I feel you on all that. And Kenny Omega, I'm starting to be a big fan of him also. Just everything that he's doing. And
buy a t-shirt.
Okada.
Support your guy.
Yeah, and then Okada's always been a solid performer. Everybody says that there's a lot of people that say he's a pretty boy, but Dude can go like any Japanese wrestler.
They've groomed him very well, and now he's at the point where they built the company around him so he could take over. But this is now the proving ground. He has the championship. He's being pushed as the guy. Nakamura left for WWE. You got Naito coming up, behind him. But this is Okada's time. He's got to make it work. He's got to become the face. He's got to become the ace of New Japan. And this match with the Omega will definitely help solidify him in that spot.
Damn, that's beautiful. But anyways, we're going off topic right now. I just wanted to throw that in there because it was also relevant.
You caught me off guard.
Yeah, it was kind of relevant in what's been going on recently. But if you guys liked everything that you heard on here, I mean, we could talk about SmackDown, we could talk about Raw, we could talk about WWE, but I just wanted to get Josh's input about New Japan Pro Wrestling, what's going on there also, because it's also exciting on that side. But if you guys liked everything that you heard, make sure that you guys come back again, like and subscribe. And for Josh's sake, like I always told you, just leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment. So I
get that. You guys email us. That's fine. And just leave a comment.
Just leave a comment for him. I mean, that's all he wants. So if you guys, like I said, like everything that you heard, make sure you guys come back and we'll see you guys next time.